Next day, just before tea time, came a tremendous ring on Bilbo's front doorbell. Good heavens, Gandalf! But it wasn't Gandalf at all. It was a dwarf with a blue beard tucked into a golden belt and very bright eyes under his dark green hood. He pushed inside, just as if he had been expected.
"Dwellin, at your service," he said with a low bow.
"Bilbo Baggins at yours," said Bilbo, very surprised. "Would you take some tea?"
They had not been at table long when there came an even louder ring at the bell.
"Excuse me," said the hobbit. "So you have got here at last." But it wasn't Gandalf, but a very old-looking dwarf on the step with a white beard and a scarlet hood.
"Balin, at your service."
Come in. Have some tea."
"A little beer would suit me better, all the same, my good sir. But I don't mind some cake, seed cake, if you have any."
Bilbo had just plumped down the beer and the cake in front of them when the doorbell rang again. What can I do for you?"
"Keely, at your service. And Feely," added the other,
and they both swept off their blue hoods and bowed.
"Dwellin and Balin here already, I see," said Keely. "Good."
"Oh, this is queer doings," thought Bilbo. "I really must sit down for a minute and have a drink." He had only just had a sip in the corner while the four dwarfs sat round the table and talked about mines and gold and troubles with the goblins and the depredations of dragons, when his bell rang again. "Someone at the door," he said, blinking.
"Some four, I should say, by the sound," said Feely.
It was not four, after all. It was five. Dory, Nori, Ori, Owen, and Glowin. Some called for ale, and some for porter, and one for coffee, and all of them for cakes, when there came a loud knock. Bilbo rushed along the passage, very angry, bewildered, bewildered, pulled open the door with a jerk, and they fell in. More dwarves. 4 more. And there was Gandalf, behind, leaning on his staff and laughing.
"Carefully, carefully. It is not like you, Bilbo, to keep friends waiting on the mat and then open the door like a popgun. Let me introduce Bifur, Bofur, Bombur, and especially Thorin." Thorin was an enormously important dwarf. In fact, no other than the great Thorin Oakenshield himself. "Now we are all here," said Gandalf. "Quite a merry gathering. I hope there is something left for the latecomers to eat and drink. A little red wine, I think, for me." "And for me,"
said Thorin. "Confusticate and bother these dwarves," thought Bilbo. "I suppose you will all stay to supper," he said in his politest, unpressing tones.
"Of course," said Thorin. "And after. We shan't get through the business till late, and we must have some music first."
Thereupon the 12 dwarves, not Thorin, he was too important, and stayed talking to Gandalf, jumped to their feet and started to sing.
"Chip the glasses and crack the plates, blunt the knives and bend the forks. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates. Smash the bottles and burn the corks. Dump the crocks in a boiling bowl, pound them up with a thumping pole, and when you've finished, if any are whole, send them down the hall to roll. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates, so carefully, carefully with the plates." Of course, they did none of these dreadful things. Everything was cleaned and put away safe as quick as lightning. "Now for some music," said Thorin. "Bring out the instruments." They came back with Thorin's harp wrapped in a green cloth, a beautiful golden harp, and when Thorin struck it, the music was so sudden and sweet that Bilbo forgot everything else and was swept away into dark lands under strange moons, far over the water and very far from his hobbit-hole under the hill. First one, and then another, began to sing, deep-throated singing of the dwarves in the deep places of their ancient homes. "Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day, to seek the pale enchanted gold.
The dwarves of yore made mighty spells, while hammers fell like ringing bells in places deep where dark things sleep, in hollow halls beneath the fells. The bells were ringing in the dale, and men looked up with faces pale. The dragon's ire, more fierce than fire, laid low their towers and houses frail. The mountains smoked beneath the moon. The dwarves, they heard the tramp of doom. They fled their hall to dying fall beneath his feet, beneath the moon. Far over the misty mountains grim, to dungeons deep and caverns dim, we must away ere break of day to win our harps and gold from him. As they sang, the hobbit felt the love of beautiful things made by hands and by cunning and by magic moving through him, a fierce and jealous love, the desire of the hearts of dwarves. Then something tookish woke up inside him, and he wished to go and see the great mountains and explore the caves and wear a sword instead of a walking stick. Suddenly in the wood beyond the water a flame leapt up, probably somebody lighting a wood fire. And he thought of plundering dragons settling on his quiet hill and kindling it all to flames. He shuddered, and very quickly he was plain Mr. Baggins of Bag End under Hill again. Bilbo got up trembling.